Okay, welcome to the Weege Show. We're going to wrap up Lucas Oil Pro Motocross from Unadilla. Hardy race fans here. They don't care if it's rain or shine. They would probably like a shiny Charlie Designs SE4 helmet. We're going to give this away, and it's coming up soon. Only 2 weeks to go. We're going to give this out after the Ironman National at the end of August. Link is in the bio, kids. Email, and you can sign up to win this helmet. This is a sweet lid right here. Shane McElrath wore one to the podium in the first 250 moto. You might not have been able to tell what helmet he was wearing, though, because everyone was covered in mud. I mean, look at the backdrop behind me. We've had pretty much anything that could possibly happen this season already happen in the races, except one thing. We didn't have a good old-fashioned mudder. So Unadilla, of course, is going to deliver. That's what happens here at Unadilla. I was here in 1987. I was a pup walking through mud just like we had today. That's what Unadilla is all about. Fans were still pumped. They were still cheering the whole time. And maybe thinking that this could be a championship mix-up for Eli Tomac in the 450s. No, Tomac, who I don't really know is known as a terrible or great mud rider, maybe somewhere in the middle, but he was legitimately great in the first moto when it was actually raining and the track was super sloppy. He got a bad start, which is unfortunately pretty typical for him lately. You don't want that in a mud race that's supposed to ruin everything. It didn't. He came through. He caught everybody. He even had a pit stop when his goggles broke. Still kept rolling forward, and then eventually everybody ran out of tear-offs and roll-offs, and they all had to stop. And in NASCAR terms, once they all cycled through their pit stops, Tomac found himself with a giant lead and an easy moto win over Marvin Musquin. Now, it stopped raining at that point, and by the time they were out for Moto 2, the track was muddy, but a different muddy, that kind of sticky, rutted one-lineness that's actually really worse than if it had just kept raining. And in those conditions, this time Musquin was better than Tomac. So Marvin wins the second moto. They tie on points for the day, but Musquin takes his third overall win of the season. Still only 15 points between them with 2 rounds and 4 motos left. So Marvin's very much still in it, even though Eli has been so good this year. So get your tickets now, folks. Go to Budds Creek. And if you're there, you might witness a championship coronation because Aaron Plessinger keeps doing the right things. Now, you know in a mud race he's going to be great. He didn't win today. That probably wasn't necessarily the goal. I think the goal was to not blow it in the mud, A, and also to get some sleep. Because Aaron actually somehow timed having a child in the off week between Washougal and this race. That's how good his season is going. So he ends up going 2-2. Second moto of the 250 class was amazing. Mitchell Harrison was leading most of it. Ferrandis trying to get around him. Plessinger trying to get around him. Eventually, Harrison couldn't get around a lap rider that slowed him up. Yamaha guys got by him. Plessinger was ahead of Ferrandis briefly. Dylan Ferrandis got back around. Ferrandis goes 1-1. That's his second overall win of the year, but his first ever sweep of the motos in the U.S. So everything's coming up Star Racing Yamaha right now, including the fact that both Ferrandis and Plessinger will race for the Motocross of Nations. Ferrandis for the French team, Plessinger along with Tomac and Justin Barcia on the U.S. team. Not on the French team, Marvin Musquin. He wanted to race. He was planning to race. He did not decline the invite. He just never got it. So maybe he can get a championship by the end of the year to make himself feel better. He's got to figure out a way to make up 15 points on Tomac over the last 4 motos. So we'll see what happens at Budds Creek, and we'll see who wins this helmet. It's coming up after Indiana, so links in the bio, kids. Email us, sign up, and we'll see who's holding #1 plates and helmet giveaways when this season is over.